Hello everybody. Today I wanted to show you how I have rearranged my color cube cards to make them more effective for me. And again, it's one of those little tricks I'm using at the moment to overcome barriers or hurdles or stopping blocks that are getting in of my way of using my stuff and making some art. So if you don't know what color cubes are, they came in these boxes like this, and they are essentially a whole ton of different color palettes, basically. So they're color palettes. They're in this really handy format. These are the color cubes, which is the physical edition. I also have from Sarah Rennae Clark is the color catalogs in PDFs. You can print those out if you want, but you can also have interactive versions where you can search through for particular color palette styles. And I was using those to look for a particular palette and then dig through the box. And I would take my box, there's 250 in each one, and I would be going through here trying to find them. But all you see is the tops like this. So we've been given these beautiful images for all of the color palettes as well. So that's also a really good resource that has been, gifted to us with this particular thing. So I saw a lady on Facebook, and I'm sorry, I didn't make a note of her name because I was just scrolling, and she said that she was using photo albums. So this wasn't my idea, but I have run with it and hacked it and whatever, because these particular squares are, all right, just over 4 inches. So they're just over 4 inches long. So if you get yourself a 4x6 inch photo album, you'll be able to do what I'm doing here. Now, first of all, with these particular ones, I like that the front, where you would normally have a cute photo to tell your family what this album is these slide in there. So if I'm working with some or I'm not ready to put a few away, I can just slot them in the front and be done. Now, I do have a bunch to put away. I've been working on, I signed up for Lindsay the Frugal Crafter's 30 Days to Better Painting course and her 30 Days to Better Watercolor course. And I really love it because they're like really short paintings that you do, but she uses the color cubes specifically for the reference images, because these, for the most part, are copyright-free images. What's the word? Images that you're allowed to use for, for your stuff. They come from places like Unsplash and things like that. So these are working really nice. Now, I've got 2 here because they can only hold about 200 and something, or about 300. So I have bought 2 of them. One for box number 1 or cube 1, and the other for cube number 2. And as you can see, when they are arranged like this, I can flick through them and I can find any particular, I can just flick through them. So I don't need to search through the PDFs now to find a particular image style or vibe that I'm looking for. I can literally just flick through this for inspiration. I can use any of these images to make my own artwork if I want to do some sketchbook work, or find some, other elements or whatever to draw on. Now, the only issue is I did have to spend a day hurting my hand because these are side sliding. So I'll put a link to these ones if you want, but if I were you, I would see if you can find a top opening wallet, if you know what I mean. See if you can find a top loading sleeve. I had to go through and slice the top of every single one because this was much, much easier to access than trying to wedge it in there, because they're just over 4 inches. So they didn't quite fit. Or, well, they fit. I could get them in, but then it was really snug, and I just really want to whip it out and, check for the color codes and everything. So that's what I did. I went through and sliced every single one, but look at this now. So now, if they are kind of generally organized. So I know that we're coming into nice landscapes and beautiful skies here. So all of these you know, so much easier to flick through like this. So this one is the box 1, so cube number 1, or catalog 1 if you have the PDFs. But you can see it makes it so much easier to navigate. I stack them on my desk, so I just grab them like any other book. This one, I want to do something else with this one, so I'm going to leave that there in that slot. It's not going to get lost. I know it's nice and safe. This is box number 2. Box number 2 is my favorite one. Let me do it this way around for this one, now that I've got a bit of space. We've got all of our under the sea stuff. So it was worth it. It took a little while to do, but I have used these cards more in the last few weeks or the last month than I have done since I bought them when they first came out. So that's it. I'll put a link down below as always, but if you like this idea, let me know. Or if you have a better idea, let me know what you're doing with yours as well, because maybe I change my mind at some point. Yeah, now let me tell you another way that I use these. So this is one of the things for coloring books that I use. So I really loved these cubes as well for limited color choices, because one of the things that's quite overwhelming if you're into coloring books is that you can get very overwhelmed with color choices, and then you end up putting too many colors down and blah 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 blah. But then with 500 different color palette choices, does that become overwhelming? So here's a tip that I like to use. And I did this with so many coloring pages and they all came out looking really, really nice. Go to a number generator, put the range between 1 and 500, click on random. Whatever number comes up, go and find that color palette. Then take that color palette, and you can ignore the image. You can just look at the colors and go, okay, all right, let me find a picture or a page that's going to work really nice with that. Grains of Gold, one of my favorites. This one was a color palette, right? So limited color choice, but there. Some I already picked out, so I put little tabs saying number 74 because I thought, oh, that will work really nice for that page. This one was a color palette. Every single one of them. And so many pages marked with different color palettes. This one was. This one I think was, but it was, you know, it's springtime, so it's going to be spring colors anyway. This one was. And I'm really glad I did, because I didn't think to just keep it, you know, put the blues in the bees as well and have just blue diamonds in the honey. This one was a color palette. This one was one of the cool rainbow colored ones. This one was. Would I have done a blue and purple cat? No, but I did, and I'm really glad that I did. So there's another little bonus tip on using these to your advantage. So I hope that was helpful. I hope that's useful. Please let me know if that was of any use to you, if you like that kind of content. And if you want more weird stuff like this, then please like and subscribe. And I hope to see you soon.